to start winning because right now, I don't think it looks and feels and smells and sounds very good for Carlos Mendoza. No, and I'm not getting on the air and saying fire him. I'm not saying that. But what I will say, like, if this doesn't change, hey, by the way, the Mets are 19-32 in their last whatever amount of games. You know what that equates to? If they would have played at this pace the entire year, the Mets would be on pace for 103 losses. I mean, guys, this is 2 months of ridiculously pathetic, inept on every level baseball. I know Lindor's starting to wake up a little bit, but too often he's been in a coma. The offense has been zombies, the lower third. We know about the starting pitching, the bullpen coming in with a gas tank, like your base running here and there. So many things that really every aspect of baseball, the Mets have been incredibly bad at for a while. So I thought last night, there was a chance to send a message and to change the tone for the New York Mets. And the way, now I don't know if it would have worked. I don't know. Maybe you leave Senga in there. Maybe he hangs one, ghost ball, whatever, Obama, and there's still boos. And the Mets still lose. And I understand that he was laboring a little bit at the end. So the Olsen 7-pitch walk, Olsen's just always a tough at-bat. You got to respect that. But then the next at-bat, it was a one-pitch fielder's choice. Then he whiffed Ozuna, where he took a lot, like even slower. Like that was a beautiful pitch by Senga. So we still had command of that. And in that at-bat, he threw a 95-mile-per-hour four-seam fastball. So it's not like he was suddenly at 91 or 92 or 89. He still had his juice. His secondary stuff was dancing low. Let him finish the game, or let him finish the inning. I don't understand that. And he's managing scared. He's managing scared. And then obviously Harris, the base hit to center field. So I just thought there was a chance to change the flow of the season. And just the energy of the season. Really, in a lot of ways, guys, the DNA of what the Mets are becoming. What is that stat, Romby? Maybe you saw, the Mets hadn't had back-to-back starts with 6 innings, something since 1901. It was one of the craziest stats I've ever seen. And you were 1 out away. Not that you're coaching to stats, obviously, but you got to coach what you got. You got to manage with your gut. And I know that Senga, was showing some signs of wearing down. Dude, it's not the 8th inning or the 9th inning where you have Diaz waiting to come in and throw 100 with a wipeout slider. Give him one more batter, dude. Trust him. I thought that was weak. And that's why I say that he managed scared. 888-808-1019, BT and Sound on the Fan. The other thing, too, all right? The other thing about Mendoza, and I've tweeted about this, and I've talked about this on the show. I've said it to Sal, like every single game, and I know that this has to bother you. And I'm actually trying to help Mendoza with this because I do like him, and I think he's got value, and I think he could be good. But he's had a horrendous 2 months, and year 2 has not been nearly as good as year 1. Got to call it the way it is. He's had a bad year. All right? So when you have a good year and now a bad year, really year 3 kind of becomes which way is that needle going? I don't know. All right, so but the point is with his post-game responses, it's always the same thing. It's always, there's a lot of talent in that room. We got a lot of talent. We're going to turn this around. Hey, Skip, I got news for you. It's your responsibility. So if I call my financial planner and he's like, yeah, listen, Brandon, I've done a really good job for you guys. We've got this, and obviously I know what we have, but we've got this percentage return, and we're diversified, and we got this, and the college fund for the kids, blah blah blah. Yeah, but by the way, as much as I'm doing a good job, and I believe with what I've done, I've made you no money. Well, then you haven't done your job. See, to me, what Mendoza's doing is he's implicating himself. Every time that he gets out there, and I don't really know what else he could say except, hey, I got to be better. I guess that's the thumb goes right to the chest, right? But he says this every single night. Like when I say that I watch every single Aaron Boone and Mendoza press conference, I'm not just saying that to make it sound like I'm really invested in my job. I watch every one. Every single one. And I don't like the way Boone handles them half the time, which I've said, right? I think he's too nice. But with Mendoza, you've got to do something different. You got to do something different in the sixth inning. Let him finish. If he gets burned, big damn deal. You've been burned anyway by the bullpen. Not so much by Rogers. And to me, it's not like he ripped one. It wasn't quite a blue, but it wasn't, right on the screws. It's an okay hit. I get it. He was able to elevate it a little bit, which you usually don't do off Rogers based on, the way his ball drops. So, and the matchups, even the numbers didn't really match up because, Albies was, I think, 2 for 4, small sample, but it's not like he was 0 for 9 with 5 Ks and 3 double plays. So even if they were married to the numbers didn't make any sense. Last night was strange, and it was just a repeat of what's been going on. And I don't know, man, like if you are, not that you manage with the sole intention of saving your job, not that he's in trouble yet, of saving your job or changing narratives. Your objective is to win. I get that. Your objective is to inspire, to get 25 men to gel, to allocate roles properly, all the things that managers and coaches do. You know what they do, right? But I really mean this as advice for the man. Dude, stop telling us how much talent you have and start winning. Otherwise, the next thing, because honestly, I'm going to be Cohen for a second, all right? Now, it wouldn't be like, remember the other day was Hal with Cashman? That was a very different tone. I wouldn't strike the same tone because he's only been here a couple of years, and his first year was very good, almost got to the World Series, right? But I would say that first talk that I have with him, the serious one, we'll get to the calls coming up here, obviously, is, hey, Carlos, if we've got so much talent and you keep telling us that room, quote, has a ton of talent, well, then why the hell aren't you winning? Like, he doesn't realize, again, he's implicating himself. So, no grand referendum, not today. There's times for it. Today's just a basic, hey, manager had a chance to make the right move. He stunk. He made the wrong move. Mets stink. That's where we're at. Not some long, drawn-out, grand referendum on why the Mets might not make the play or why the Mets are here. Your manager dropped the ball last night, period. 888-808-1019, BT and Sal on the fan. Hey, Sal, back those surf signs, buddy. All right, let me get Brad. Brad's in Mineola, BT and Sal on the fan. What's going on, Brad? How are you?
BT.
Yo.
I'm numb, bro. Like, at the end, you hear my voice? I was screaming last night. At the end of the day, this team hurts my soul. I'm 37 years old. I've been a Met fan since I was 5 years old. I had such great expectations for this team. Win the division. World Series or bust. Yes, were there situations where our pitching was not going to last? And look, it didn't. But we do have so much talent. But what I want to tell Mendoza is BTC. And go into there and say, we suck. Figure it out. He needs to go in there and flip a couple tables. Like Angels in the outfield did. Danny Glover. Do something.
Okay. All right, Brad.
You're welcome, Sal.
Listen, hold on. Brad, hang on a sec. You just said you guys have so much talent. Do you?
I mean, listen. Toto.
Get the worst staff in baseball.
A lot of money, and he is a generational player. Alonso, 40 home runs a year. Lindor, MVP candidate. He is one of the best closers in baseball.
Yep.
We do have talent.
I know. No, Brad, hold on.
Where is it?
Brad, I know you have talent. Thanks for the call. I'm just pushing back on whether or not you have as much talent as you think. I don't think you have that level of talent. I mean, I don't know how to say this more succinctly. The Mets starting rotation sucks. It's terrible. So right away, you are up against it because now the margin for error dissipates and shrinks. You come out. I mean, think about the leads that the Mets have blown. Last night, I mean, the 5 runs, the 6 runs, the 4 runs, the multiple run leads. Last night was a different profile, but you still got in the wrong column. It's the loss column. So when you don't put up enough zeros early, you better make sure your stars hit. And baseball is cyclical. It's not like Kobe coming out and dropping 35 on cue. Hey, Kobe, Shaq, MJ. Baseball's different. And you've got to at least have elements of reliability that get off the bus with you or enter the home clubhouse when you come to play. And let's face it, when the Mets, leave the tunnel, walk into the dugout, and run on the field to play a game, they don't have enough components that you should believe in. I'm not saying that they're without star power. I mean, we know that they have some studs, but their deficiencies, I think, exceed their pluses, which is why the other day and I said this about the Yankees as well, and I stand by it again. The Mets, forget about the Yanks for now. The Mets are bad at more things than they're good at. I mean, that's it. So that's why the urgency last night, when you have a chance as a manager to make the right decision and you hit the wrong lever, oof. Let me get Sonny and Malvern, BT and Sound on the Fan. Sonny.
Hey, BT, you appreciate this. I'm driving down now. I'm probably, I think, in West Virginia, driving down to where a winning organization resides, and that's Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Wow, but he taking a kid off to school? What are you doing down there?
Yeah, I'm dropping his car off for college.
Nice. Yeah. God bless. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, you were wrong about the Mets the last 2 months, BT.
Huh.
Since April 30th, they've played under 500 baseball. So if you look at it, besides the great start, right, and then a 7-game winning streak somewhere in between, there's no reason to believe that this team is going to make the playoffs. And they do have talent, BT. They're just not playing well. That's all. And the starting pitching is awful. I think about 2 weeks ago they said and that's Peterson, was the only Mets pitcher who went beyond, I think, 5 innings, if that's
6.
That sounds real.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah. And by the way, you just paint a more morbid picture. I wasn't wrong. I just elected to start or pick up the stat saying that they're 19-32 in their whatever last amount of games. But you're right. Outside of a quick start and a little flicker here and there, the Mets have been horrible this year. Same with the Yankees.
And the other problem is, BT, there's so many good teams in the National League now, so there's a lot of more competition than there is obviously in the American League. I think. And so it's going to make it that much harder. I know the Dodgers have been slipping a little, but teams like Milwaukee, they're on the, trending up, and that's what you want to be doing, trending up, not trending down. And the Mets been trending down for 3.5 months. So there's no indication, I'm sorry, Met fans, and I'm a big Met fan, that they're going to make the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Sonny, safe travels, man, and don't shed too many tears dropping off the kids. Can I tell you, though, I got married in my late-ish 30s, right? Had children a couple of years after that. So one thing, just a quick little swerve here. I don't really post a lot on Facebook, but I see what's going on. It's a nice way to keep tabs on guys I grew up with and went to school with, whatever, played ball with. And because I got married later and had children a little bit later, a lot of my buddies now have children who are going off to school. Mine are still young, 10, and recently daughter just turned 9. I don't know how the heck I'm going to handle dropping them off to college. I'm going to be a basket case. I don't know if I could do it. I'm going to cry my eyes out. Oh, man, I can't even think about that. When I see those pictures, I'm like, good. It's a ways away, but is it really? I mean, you think about the day that they were born and now 10. Boom. God. Maybe I'll just stay on campus and join a fraternity. Hang out. That'll be fun. All right, 888-808-1019, BT and Sal on the Fan. Mets are a mess, and last night, directly on the manager. Inside of our Town Fair Tire Studios, where we are, of course, our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Starting pitching, the GM didn't do his job. The skipper's been a mess for a couple of months. The star players intermittently showing up. Honestly, and I asked the question, how do the Mets get right? BT and Sal on the Fan.